Hello, I'm Mamad Mamado. In this video, I'm gonna explain the way I implemented project 2. So in this project, we're required to fetch data from dummy.json API products endpoint, and we had to implement several functionalities such as displaying the elements, adding searching, filtering based on the categories, and also pagination at the bottom if we have more than 10 products. Also, we have the functionalities such that when we click on the element, we have a new page opened with detailed information about the product and also its images as well. So let's get started. So the first task was API integration. We should fetch the data from API. So that's why I use fetch function by passing the URL as the argument. So basically I send get request to this URL, and here if you pay attention I used limit.100 to make sure that I get all 100 elements there, because if I don't include it by default it will only bring 30 elements. So as part of the fetch process I get response, and for that response I have a callback function here. So first of all I check whether the response was successful or not. So what I mean by successful is that those responses have response codes, and that codes should be in the range between 200 and 299 to be considered as successful. So if it is not successful, I just throw an error object which describes the error. However, if it was successful, I parse the response to JSON. I have another promise here and callback function as part of the return statement here. So when I get the JSON, I have products. It was an empty array that I initialized here, and from data I get data.products for populating my empty array with the data. So the reason I used products here is that if we pay attention to the API, so this is the API, this is the formatted version, so all of them are inside products property. So that's the reason I wrote data.products. And then I call the main function. So basically main function is the one that includes everything from displaying elements to pagination. Actually it's in the format that other functions are nested inside this function. And if there are any issues while the fetching process or these promises, I have callback function. So it logs the error. Actually it shows the error in the console with a proper message. Now let's move to the second part of the assignment. Now I'd like to discuss how to display the products on the home page. So in order to do that, we need one container. So I open division div class here in index.html, and I assign the class name grid container. It's mostly used for styling purposes and with the ID product list. And I access that element here with its ID, and create a variable named product list to store the data. I mean to store the element inside that variable. And then since we had the products array containing the product data, using for each function I traverse through all products, and for each product I create a div element inside my index.html, and for each product element I add grid item. Again, it's also for styling purposes. And as you can see here, I add new attribute named data ID, and I assign product.id to that attribute. Actually this will be explained in the searching part as well. It's needed for searching purposes. I'll explain it later. And we add inner HTML. So for each product on the home page we are required to have title, price, discount percentage, category, stock, and thumbnail, which is an image element, and its respective alternative text, product.title. Then I add that product element to our product list, and that's it. In the third part of the assignment, we have to make sure that when the user clicks on any product, there will be a new tab opened containing the detailed information about that specific product, and also there will be pictures of that product as well. Let me show you. So this is Samsung Galaxy Book. When I open this product, it's open in new tab. We have detailed information compared to the previous one, and also we have pictures here as well. So in order to do that, in our index.js, I add event listener so that when the user clicks the product element, I have the callback function here. This function is called. So basically this function opens a new window, new tab in separate tabs since it's underscore blank, and it gets this URL. Here, if you pay attention, I have product.id, meaning it takes the ID of each product and adds it to the query part in the URL. So I implemented this functionality in another file actually. So this is the callback function, and this is the event listener. So one more thing I want to emphasize here is that this callback function will be called when the whole elements are loaded, meaning the whole document object model content are loaded. So inside display single product, I have product ID. I get this ID not directly from the API, but from the previous JS file, index.js file, since I assigned the URL based on the ID of each product, and now I can get that ID with URL search params, passing the argument of window.location.search, and I get the ID part there. And I check for any reason whether it's null or not to be safe, to be on the safe side. And I have the URL here, but since this time we access the single products from the documentations of the dummy.json API, it should be in this format, where the last one is the product ID. And this is the fetch operation in the as we discussed in the displaying elements part. I send get request to this URL. I get the response. I check whether it was successful or not. If it's successful, I parse it to JSON, and then I get my product, and based on that data, I have my product info set. So product info set is the ID of the element that I created here in the product.info HTML. So it's basically one div element containing the whole information about the product. So basically I access that element and assign it to product info set, and I add the inner HTML. So we have more properties here: title, brand, description, price, and etc. And at the end we have pictures. So I added pictures as a separate div element. Then I accessed these pictures based on their ID. Here is a query selector, and I took pictures, and for pictures they actually contain images. So this was our product here, and in the API, if we look the format here, it's image. So product.images.map, I use this array function, and when I traverse through it for each image, I create the element on my user interface, and using the structuring assignment, I assign the source of the picture, the image. I mean, for each element, let's say I assign this one, and for the alternative text I assign the title of the product, and at the end I just add each image to the image set, which was this container, this div element. And at the end, if we have any errors during the fetch operation, during the promises, I just log out the error message describing the error. Now I'd like to discuss the first part of the assignment. It's about searching and filtering. So for searching, basically it should work on the logic that if the product's title, description, or category contains what the user typed, those elements should be shown. And for the category, it's simple. We have the categories, and when we click on them, it should bring the elements belonging to that category. And we can actually do both of them. Let's say categories containing Z. So we have one element containing Z, whether it is in its title, description, or category, I'm not sure, but if we Control Z, Control F Z, you see we have size containing Z. And we can also we can also see the searching just alone. Let's choose this all, and these are the all elements containing the element Z. I think there are 10 here, and we have 5 here, 15 elements in total. So let's discuss the codes. For searching and filtering, first of all, we need search bar and select box. So these are the elements. This is for search bar and this is for select box. For select box, I also have a label specifying, letting the user that he or she should choose a category. And in index.js file, so basically I have category list. Actually, I didn't write them separately because they were very similar to each other. So I have category list, and when I traverse through the products array while displaying the elements, I also checked whether this category list contains the product.category, meaning I want to make sure that I get the categories of all elements, but there should be no repetition. So category list contains the set of all categories of the products. And here I have all option. I create element option. I have its text named all, and I add it to our select box. So basically select box is based on its ID, and I have it here, categories. And then I traverse through the category list, and for each in each iteration I create option element. I assign the text of i's element of category list, but in sorted order, in alphabetical sort, and at the end I add all options to our select box. And this is the search input. So it gets the element based on the class name. And for both searching and filtering, I use the same handler function. I called it search filter handler, and I add event listeners for both of them, but for the search input, to be on the safe side, I just checked whether it's null or not, because otherwise we may face some issues in the console. And the difference is that for search input, the event type is keyup, while for select box is change. And in the search filter handler, we get search value and selected category from search input and select box, which refer to our elements in the index.html. We get the values, and to increase user experience, we don't want to we don't want to be so strict, so that's why we accept both lowercase and uppercase. So in order to make comparisons, I made them both lowercase, and I traverse through the products array, and for each product I check whether its title contains what the user input, description, and category as well. And I assign the OR operation of all these elements, actually all these boolean values, to another boolean variable called search match. And for the category match, I have two cases. The first one is the selected category should be all. The user choose the all option, or otherwise the category of the product should be equal to what user chose. So I have is visible, which is the AND operation of search match and category match. So this makes sure that we can do searching and filtering at the same time as well. So the logic here is that when I get this is visible true, I show the elements. Otherwise, the display will be none. So it's mentioned here in class list. I toggle the class named height, so this class will be added when is visible is false, meaning there are no matches. Otherwise it will be, the product elements will be shown. And I want to mention here is that actually we could also do it other way, fetching the data from the API using the queries mentioned in the documentation. However, I thought that it would be a resource consuming process, therefore one-time fetching is enough, and we can use that in this kind of creative approach and hide the elements that are not necessary, that does not match the criteria. And I said that we added new attribute data ID, and it will be used in the searching purposes. Before it was added, yes, here. So the reason I add that attribute and assign it with the product.id is that, okay, here I accessed all products in the products array. However, I don't access them visually. I don't access the ones on the, let's say, on the user interface. Therefore, to know which element to access, I should use in that format, and I assign it to product element, and it's the one actually I said earlier that I toggle the class height. And after that I have update visibility function here below, I call that. So let me explain what this function stands for. So basically this function stands for letting the user that whether there are no elements or not. So basically it shows the message that there are no elements when there are actually no elements. So no products elements, the class list toggle hide when there are 0 visible products. So I had the array from product list based on the grid item, and I used the array function filter that doesn't contain the elements hide. So these are the visible products. So there may be a question that why I chose them based on the grid item, because initially when I created the no products element here, the div element, I added the information named class name at proper class height, making the display none, and text content, and I also added it to our product list. That's why in order to prevent any confusion, I made it specifically based on the products, and those products all contain the class grid item. And that's it. I check whether these visible products, I mean visible products dot length equals to 0 means that there are no visible products, there are no match. There are no match means that we should display the message that there are no elements, no products found. So when the 0 visible products is false, I hide that element, but when it's true, I add that element. So that's basically what the toggle function does. Last but not least, I like to discuss the bonus task of the assignment, pagination. So it should be implemented in a way that when we have more than 10 products, we need different pages to display them. And I have two functions to implement the pagination. The first one is pagination core and the second one is update page. So let's get started with pagination core. So generally this function creates the structure of the pagination, the number of the boxes, showing the active one, and etc. So I have total pages, and we find the total pages using ceil function, because if we have remaining elements after the division to 10, we need one more extra page to contain them. And visible products actually is the one that comes from the function update visibility. I populated that function in this here, and it was on the global level, so therefore we can access those elements here as well. And for the inner HTML, I keep it blank for now, but using the for loop, I add all numbers to the page links. I create different, let's say, boxes, different links. I create anchor element. So since it shouldn't, let's say, since it shouldn't navigate to another page, I just use hashtag, and we have text content. Text content should be equal to the number of the page, so basically it should be equal to I, and we also started I from 1 for that same purpose. And we have event listener. So event listener basically is the one that implements when we want to move from one page to another. So we should mark what the current page is, because we need it styling purposes. So current page, when the current page is equal to I, and I check it here. If it is equal to I add active. So basically active is the color added to that specific page link. And here I have update function. I'll explain it in few minutes. And I have pagination core. So this is the same function that is kind of recursively called when the user clicks on the boxes. The reason is simple. If we don't have this function and we want to navigate to another let's say page link, in that case the active one will not change. So in order to change the active page link, we should have pagination core rerun, so that it should move to the next parts and add the necessary classes and update the value of the I. And so basically a pagination container is the container containing all links, all boxes, and I append child to page link. And I initialized pagination container here above. Let me see. Yes, pagination container equals to document.getElement by ID pagination. So pagination basically is just empty div I created in the index.html. And now let's move to the second function. Second function is update page. So update page basically updates the elements on the page. For that we have start index and end index. Start index contains the elements. Actually this is based on the let's say ith element of the visible product, so it should be 10 times current page minus 1. Let's say our third page should contain what elements? It should contain the elements from 21 to 30. So basically third page, current page minus 1 is 2, 2 times 10 20, and 20 plus 10 30. And we have current page. Current page is initialized here at the beginning. It is equal to 1. However, when we use searching and filtering, we need to reassign it to 1, because when we search and filter the elements change. And here in loop operation, we traverse through the visible products on the screen, and for each visible products, the ith element of the visible products, I assign it to product, and I again have is visible here. So like the logic in the searching and filtering here, I use the same algorithm. So but this time the difference is that I should be greater or equal to standard index, start index, and less than end index, to make sure that the right elements are on the right page. And again, I decide whether to show that product or not based on the value of the is visible. So if it is if the element is visible, if the criteria matches, then the product will be visible, because we don't have the hide class, otherwise it will not be shown. And at the end of the function, I just call these three: update visibility, pagination core, and update page, to work to keep the page updated upon any changes. And I also want to mention that they should also be called inside the search filter handler, because as I mentioned earlier, like with the current page, when we search and filter anything, their elements change. That's why pagination can be different, update page can be different, and update visibility. I mean, the no product font, the functionality of the no product font can be different from the actual one. So that's all from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Have a nice day.